Right, everyone. In this last step of blending bands together, since you've done your whole sheet full of these bands, you find two that you really love, and you think, man, they're as good as I've done, that are next to each other. You go over them and you make sure that they have a full range of value with all three of your pencils. You start with 2B, you blend with 2H, and then I was just about to do, you can watch me here, just go over the dark part with my 6B, and I just want to really push that dark and blend it in. You want to make sure that both of these bands have all the range of value that your pencils will be able to produce. Then at that point, you can really see a difference between here and even here, or these others. They're just much more developed. Then, when you're ready to blend these two together, because blending bands is a huge part of shading in general, and also in your next project, which is the ribbon. Let me just sharpen my pencil real quick, and then we'll dive into this. All right, so to make this happen, you want to put another band in here. Now remember, you're sitting up straight. Your hand can freely slide on the paper, and you're not, your weight is not being held up by your hand. Your hand needs to be able to move. And if I take this, I'm just going to start a band right here, and I'm going to overlap into these other existing bands, but you can already see a major difference between these two. And I'm going to overlap, but not a whole bunch. And because I'm going to blend, I know that this band here needs to be lighter. So I'm just going to let that tail off like that. There's quite a difference between these, so I can come back in here and lay a little bit more down. I don't want it to start to get shiny or polished. Now some of these spots, like you can see this right here, that's a low spot in the paper texture. I can get my sharp pencil and get inside there. And it's important when you do that to make sure that you're not darkening the areas around, but you want to be careful because you don't want to make dark spots. So at this point, I'm going to take my 2H pencil, make sure it's quite sharp, and I'm just going to generally go around and just pick up the little white spots that have been left. The sharpness of the pencil will get down into the texture of the paper, but generally speaking, we've got two ruts, two overlapping areas where these three bands are touching. We want those to go away. So what you do is you come right up next to this overlapped darker area. You don't want to go over it again because that just perpetuates the problem. So right here where I've filled in, I'm using like a very small oval, so I'll do one up here. Just little like that. Not like the big one that you started out with up here, like this. You just coming right up here, and wherever there's this little dark area, you're just skipping around. And the reason why you skip around is because you don't want to just put another band in here. Sure, it will blend and soften this one, but it'll just move it, and you'll have another one somewhere else. And so you just blending and looking at the darker areas, and just skipping around. Now, I'm going to do everybody a favor, and we're going to send the video into time lapse, and you can watch me blend all this away, and you'll see it much faster. But really, this doesn't take very long. You know, just be patient with it anyway. But blending with your 2H becomes your best friend when blending starts to happen. So we will we'll see you at the end. Okay, what you saw me do was switching between my 2B and my 2H, and even momentarily there, my 6B. Going back and forth, whatever it really needs, as you observe where the darks and the lights are. The majority of the time was spent with my 2H, the razor sharp 2H, getting into all these little areas, but you can see how those areas are greatly reduced. If you really look right here, you can maybe see a little bit of discrepancy of where this band was and where this band was. But the majority of the time spent was right in here, where there was just, you really have to develop a touch to make sure that you preserve that blending to white. Also, you'll notice that I did not make any marks that started here and ended here. I did not do this. Do not do that, because that just adds another layer onto everything and doesn't do anything for you, because yes, it makes this lighter, but you get a curve too, and that's not what we're after. So hopefully this helps you with your blending. This will come into play in our very next assignment with the ribbon, and we'll see you there. Thanks. Good luck.